User reviews. User reviews. Alright, so this is full match. Ilios, tank / DPS 2800. Smexology. We're gonna watch it. Oh, does he pick Diva? Ah! Disgusting. A Diva picker.
Let's get Zarya, he's alone.
Oof. Ooh, I would say... Oh. Straight away, I would say your mouse speed is your mouse speed is probably too high for your liking, for your tracking. You're a little bit willy-nilly. If you have a high sensitivity, then you need to understand how to use it for tracking purposes.
Oh no, I overextended, my bad.
Alright, so... You pressed a little bit too far ahead without a healer. Yeah.
I guess I can't overextend so much when we only got Lucia and Zenith for healing.
Yeah, you caught it. Even in your own words, you caught it.
As long as you can.
You overextended for not having a healer on you. Especially since it was against a Winston. You know, he does have a high hit point pool, and you got to get through armor, which Diva is, you know, a bit rough at. He also had the health pack advantage. Yeah, so it's going to be tough to do that. Alright, you should have him here. Yeah, there you go.
Oh fuck, get ready.
Alright. Yeah.
Knock him off.
So keep the pressure on.
I got him. Nice, put it down. Messy low. Stagger up.
Yeah, that whole series of events wasn't bad, and you kept your ult, so that's good.
Lucio's off, or fucking Genji.
That's perfect. That was he tried to survive way too long and he died, and so he's huge stagger.
How did I miss that? What the? Lucky on point. Never mind.
Okay, good. Yeah, they got a Winston Diva, so it's gonna be a little bit.
I don't know what to do with my ult here. Monkey low. Fuck, I was looking for a defense matrix, but I couldn't find it.
Couldn't find your defense matrix. Yeah, I mean that would have been hard. You're Gravitron.
Yep, I'm at 90 somber.
You're gonna take damage from Zarya and Winston.
Yeah.
I think it was actually good because you don't have a Mercy. You didn't use your ult. I think that would have been scrambling for life a little bit too much.
For the half. Not being healed. Nice. Alright, let's back out.
So what happened there was
We've lost the fight.
the Pharah took too much attention from you, and I believe the Winston went for her as well. And with both tanks being occupied, your team just kind of died.
She just got booped off. Let's go around. That's too late now, we got a monkey going in. Fuck, my bad, trying to get it.
I shouldn't have used it, fuck.
Get the Genji. Yeah, it wasn't the bet.
I think...
Oh, it knocked her off. That's why it was delayed.
My ult pushed her off the edge, that was
Yeah.
delayed.
Shouldn't have stacked.
It wasn't a terrible. I think that was a fair use of it. It sucked that you used the ult during Lucio ult.
Winston, nice.
But that's not terrible.
Yep, nice.
I will say already, your damage absorption is low, but it's going to be low from the nature of their team. Rocking 2 plasma weapons. But I would definitely...
Someone should go hog.
I would definitely already consider maybe you're not sticking with your team enough, and you're not protecting them. It's good if you want to dive in with the Winston and protect the Winston for him to get some, you know,
I don't think just pulling him in is
consistent damage off.
Let's get Winston. He's
Yeah,
way far
Winston.
forward. Mercy? Fuck!
Like that fucking ass.
Oh my god!
I didn't see they had one.
Yeah, I was so hyper focused on the Mercy.
Yep, so that's what tunnel vision gets you.
Does someone want to switch me for like tank spot? You guys are-
I'm not particularly a good healer.
See right there, you could have saved the Zenyatta.
There we go.
I guess something else?
Monkey half.
It reminds me of
Yeah.
what some lower SR Lucios do, is that they only, you know, make changes and change their stats based on their needs and not the team.
Tracer behind.
Oh my god.
Yeah, you just back up.
Forward. Like we're not pushing.
Your team has to get back.
Like get like in good entry kills like fucking Winston and shit. You roll on them.
At this point, your team, like, you have to back up for at least 10 seconds. Oh, geez, your team's pushing in.
We got Winston behind. He's low.
Yeah, see, again, you kind of left your Lucio for dead there.
We should go to the side so they can't do that shit to us.
Yeah, sure. For sure. Right side.
Okay, now you guys... That's the problem, and it wasn't even your fault that this entire match wasn't kind of your fault. After the initial stagger, you guys just kept staggering.
Yo, what's in that ring behind you guys?
Oh, I thought I had fucking ult.
Tracer's behind us.
Go.
Okay, you did know. Good.
Oh my god. This is so fucking annoying. We gotta kill her.
But don't be afraid to put someone in timeout with defensive matrix.
Oh,
That was close.
He was like half HP when he ulted. That was stupid.
And by timeout, I mean you just put the defensive matrix over someone so they can't do anything. Another thing is, I wanted to say it when you first, before like you were...
Heals, please help. I got deep on me.
Oh, fuck.
It's not the worst loss.
Today. We might want some other
Fucking
healers.
McCree.
I feel like Lucio's ending put out in the feeling.
Yeah, those aren't main healers, guys.
Like at least like a Mercy or an Ana instead of one of you guys. I don't know.
So yeah, when you thought you had ult and you were gonna launch it up and over, the idea is to buy your Reinhardt time, and just breath essentially with your defensive matrix over the shield.
What we got? Oh, did we use?
But this
Fuck, we used-
this McCree is shutting you guys down hard.
Got touch. Fuck.
He's shutting you guys down to a point where you may just have to focus on him and keep him out. But I would say very, very, very high lack of defensive matrix so far in this game. Progressive, you're here? Alright, cool. Does the game have to be a defeat in the review? I prefer defeats because I get too many people sitting in games where they do great and they're like, look how good I did. I did awesome and we won. And I'm like, I can't teach you anything from that. I need you to fail and then we learn through failures.
Go on, Tracer goes
Thanks a
on.
lot, man.
But yeah, so far it was just like defensive matrix usage.
Fair. Where's his hat?
Oh, good snipe. Coming on.
Photo low. Right side.
So I would shut down that McCree. Your team really needs help with him.
Good take.
Nice.
Alright, so I like your defensive matrix usage now. It's a little bit better.
Bear 1 HP. Bear
She's
1
low,
HP.
she's low, she's low.
Oh, don't.
Actually, we can take this.
Okay, that was a good one.
So the heals on her. Yeah, I think the upgraded heal is really help.
Remember, your crit box is more or less. Diva's biggest weakness is her crit box. Her crit box is center of mass, so it's very little risk for them to shoot you in the face. Right? They're going to shoot you in the body if they don't. It's not like it's going for a headshot where they have a chance to miss. Just because of the size of the headshot box and the location on the body.
Fuck.
I think you ate 1 or 2?
Fuck! I was on accident! And I've got fucking fire striked!
Oh, you did.
Oh my god.
So yeah, with most, I think you figured it out, but with most of your team, that it probably wasn't the best idea to ult there.
Damn, I fucking triple dinked that.
Nice.
So as your team's engaging, you need to help them. So that wasn't bad. But it just kind of aligned with your needs at that point.
Dude, I'm low. He's low, he's low. Nice. Dead.
Yeah. So, right, this is a perfect example that you're prioritizing hero damage over defensive matrix.
Oh, it's a debuff.
Keep your team alive at these points, because your entire team's attacking one person. They can handle it.
Oh, we haven't yet?
We haven't capped it?
But
What
keeping
the
them alive is way more important.
fuck? No!
That was
What happened?
whatever. That was fine.
Why didn't we cap? They're all alive.
Alright, stop stalling. They have the point. Let's just.
Yeah, yeah. Back up. Back up. There's no way we win this, guys.
92%, 90. Yeah, you're gonna have to just make.
Point. Yeah.
Alright, I'm on.
Zoom in.
That was a good ult, and that's essentially the ult you have to do.
Fuck! Come on, that's for DPS.
So I think you're playing okay. There's a couple.
Try switching it up here.
There's a couple times like you're favoring
Let's go,
DPS over tanking, and now you're playing a DPS character. So maybe your mindset is in a more of a DPS type situation. Careful while getting too close.
Nice. Is this a low?
All right, good. I was just worried about you guys getting pulled in.
Mercy half, mercy half.
Okay, there's the Helix. I was gonna say I haven't noticed too many Helix. Even if you just want to put extra damage on the shield.
Nice Tracer.
And now we'll just look at your burst fire, how you're doing that. Almost got it. That was good.
I almost just fucked that mercy so hard. Can I get up there? No, try.
I would just say that's not a very good vantage point. Especially at 43%. Yeah, you can't see much.
No, it's just
Be behind again.
No! Mercury 1 HP. Oh, Mercury 1 HP.
What is he? Oh, he's healed.
Okay, you're getting to the point where you want to back off maybe a smidge.
Oh no!
Oh, it sucks. You got the Tracer.
Just stall for as long as you can, Tracer.
Oh, later, bitch.
That was a good move.
I was just saying, essentially with your ultimate coming up, you want to be a little bit farther than combat. Remember, Soldier can definitely do long range stuff. He's
Can you heal here?
probably the most annoying character at that range. Okay, Mercy's dead. You got the McCree. Opens to your left.
Leave the left side.
Yep.
Behind you, Alyssa.
Nice, guys.
Tracer doesn't recall. He's low. Oh, what's low?
Did you do right?
Oh, she's fucked!
Oh, the dumbass.
Interesting.
In the pit.
And you're not burst firing. I understand against tanks and shields because you don't really need to. You don't got to worry about the recoil that much.
I hate this game.
Yeah, remember you take self damage.
Oh my god, I can't hit him.
You have Helix. So
No.
looks a little bit like resource usage
Nice,
on
guys.
Soldier. You can definitely start optimizing a lot more.
Awesome.
What's the approximate rec time for a review? A few weeks. Yeah, I mean, some weekends I feel like, I mean, sometimes I'll do like a Saturday review and a Sunday review. I do reviews only on weekends. I don't, Overwatch weekends suck. Overwatch sucks on weekends. So I usually do, oops. So I do reviews on Saturdays or Sundays. Sometimes I do it both days. If I do it both days, I'll usually get them all done.
I can't see shit.
Oh, you fucking snipe.
Nice job, guys.
Oh, right behind us. Oh, he woke up. My bad.
I need heals. Fuck. I
Alright.
overextended.
So you even said it. Like you I think you know when you overextend, the trick is to not do it in the first place.
I thought I saw a supercharger there.
You guys have the advantage.
I can't see him.
Why?
He just solo ulted you. What the fuck?
This asshole.
Oh, I saw a Tesla cannon. That's what it was. Get soldier. Nice.
So also from your remarks
No one's capped yet.
through voice. Wait, is that?
I'm dead.
I think that was you talking to yourself, right?
Kill the Mercy. Oh my god, I knocked her off so long ago.
But it sounded like just comfort.
That wasn't you. Soldier's coming in.
Nice guy.
Okay, that wasn't bad. But it seemed like comfort with the game. Like you're like, oh, was that an Orisa ult? And it's like, whoa, wait, it's the beginning of the game. It wouldn't happen like
No, I
that.
didn't, but I did get it right after you ulted me.
Also, like when you're like, how do I get up there again? So it sounds like just comfort in the game is
Nice fucking stick, man.
is one big thing that you need to just do, and that's just play Overwatch more. This is a bit of overextending, and you need to find the long angles. You're at 44 health. You need to get.
Oh, help.
Oh, you got lucky. You got really, really lucky. Notice your health a lot more. So already, like,
So just
even this is... So, Soldier has a 35 meter fall off. Meaning you don't have fall off damage till 35 meters. 35 meters, if you don't know what it is, go in the game, in the training room, and there'll be marks on the floor, and it'll be like 5, 10, 15, 25, yada, 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 and know what 35 meters feels like. It's far. It's significantly far.
Oh my god.
Fucking god. Nice.
Oh, get that Mercy. I would say targeting the Mercy is utmost importance.
Just for as long as you can.
Here comes the res, right?
Nice. Oh fuck.
Oh, we got moved down.
You have your healing because you want to put that before a fight. Also, here it's really good for your entire team.
Monkey low, monkey low, monkey low. Get on it.
Fuck! I can't get on it.
Oh, you're good.
I'm just gonna kill myself.
Okay, there's a good. That at least you didn't hesitate. I actually like that. There's no hesitation. You're like, fuck it, we're done. Move.
Well, I think we're gonna nano the monkey.
So remember, with Bionic Field, you want to put it down before a fight. I understand if you get jumped on,
I mean, either that
but
or, like Mia today said, but
like if you put it on the when everyone's in the middle and you can help out your team.
More value.
But another thing is like right here. So you can favor that. You can be on the high ground. This is good for you. They do have a Pharaoh, so it'd be a little annoying. You'd have it'd be a fight. That's all I'm saying. But you don't have to push up like this far to do damage with Soldier. Now to be accurate and the way you're not burst firing, being closer is going to help your accuracy. But as you get higher and higher with your SR, you're going to be able to, you need to shoot from farther away and make those shots count. 35 meters is probably from here to the edge of the map, like outside the back part. Even the front of this that's probably like 15, 20. So you won't be suffering fall off damage.
oh, I fucking nice. I got a low.
Ready, 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 ready.
Soldier up top right.
So you know the Winston's on you.
Oh my god.
Up, 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 up.
So as soon as you saw that Winston jump up in such a vertical manner, you know he's coming for you, right? He wasn't going for any long distance target. I don't know if that skipped your thought process. You're a little bit too worried about a Soldier on high ground, but
No, stop feeding, stop feeding.
the Winston was your primary concern because he was the one that's going to be on you and killing you.
We still have nano. Are we close to anyone else?
My tactical visor is charging.
Hito, yeah, you may be right, and that's kind of like what I'm thinking is his accuracy may not be the best at long
Just go
range.
straight to point. Like Soldier.
And judging from his sensitivity on Diva, I'm assuming his long range accuracy may be a little bit lacking, to say the least. But right there, those shots were really good.
Back. Like by the edge. Get him.
Also, your Ana was low health, and she used her Bionic Grenade. It would have been completely reasonable for you to use your Bionic Field.
That wasted all.
Right heart low, right heart low.
Especially on a point like this, now where everyone's fighting.
Get monkey, get monkey, get monkey.
Nice guys.
Don't underestimate how good Bionic Field is for your entire
good
team.
staggered.
Little bitch.
All right, so this is good. This is a good point. You capped at 80%. At about 80%, they're going to have to dive the point to get to it. Like 85%, I would say you already won the map. So I would say in about 5 seconds, they're going to be on the point, right?
Very sure, no.
Oh fuck.
You need to alt.
I like this.
Okay. So you...
Oh.
This sucks because... Alright, I hate pointing things out because there's, the whole, 99% of Overwatch to play. But when they're forcing the point,
How close is pulse bomb?
especially with Tac Visor, first you need to be a little bit farther away.
Fuck.
And you need to pop this stuff as soon... Like, I was thinking right about here. You have to pop it now, because basically, they're at a point where half of their team is not on the point, and they need people on the point. So you know their team's already separated because of the time constraint and where the Mercy Pharah is. You need to wipe this out, or force them to use ults outside of the team point, or outside of the capture point, to get a significant advantage. And right now you already saw one is dead, so you need something to make up these numbers. The problem is you let them... Like, Mercy should have been dead there. Uh,
Yeah, like this.
yeah, you actually let that happen. And then you're too close in range because you're prioritizing the Mercy hardcore. I think that's just like an overall theme of your playstyle, though. You're very up in people's faces.
You touch it? Oh.
Not prioritizing what's good for you. So, your accuracy, I usually never talk about this because accuracy comes with time. I actually want to talk about. From your diva, your tracking is rough. You have a high sensitivity. Now, I have a high sensitivity, so like I understand where you're coming from. But I've been sniping in games for a long time, and if I had to play like Widowmaker or Soldier, I could pick it up quickly. My tracking with my sensitivity is okay, but only because I'm so used to the sensitivity. If you're not used to the sensitivity and you don't know how to control something that high, you may have to lower it, maybe for specific classes or something. But with your high sense on Diva, I'm assuming you have a sensitivity issue on Soldier as well. And that is why you are prioritizing a little bit close range. I would say too close range for Soldier. You weren't abusing his mid to long range dominance yet. No, I know you're 2700 or something. You're platinum. So I know it'll come in time, but you probably want to like figure this out. The reason why most people say low sensitivity is because you can control better, you're more accurate. It depends what you as a player want to value. I don't care what the pros say, I don't care what anyone says. It's what you as a player values. That's what your sensitivity is based on. Me, I value having you on my screen at all times and be able to keep a track on you even if you were to run through me. And that's just how I play. And I've been playing at it long enough that I can actually, snipe with it if I needed to. So the truth is, if you want to play with this high sensitivity, cool, but you have to practice more and more and more. Don't think playing once or twice a week for a couple hours is going to get your skill with it up. Yeah, you have to, you really have to, you have to practice your ass off to get high sensitivity to work in all situations. But your positioning for Diva was okay, but yeah, I think your positioning was okay in Diva, but for Soldier was too close. So for Soldier. Now for Diva, Diva is actually your skill usage. So the D matrix. It seemed like you're using this only based on your own need for it, not for the team's need. You were prioritizing damage heavily, and I can understand when there's a Winston, and they did have Winston Zarya, so your Diva play, defensive matrix a little less versatile, because 2 out of their 6 characters can shoot through it. But that doesn't mean that McCree that kind of put your team into the ground couldn't have been stopped. Again, you were really prioritizing what you needed over what your team needed. The defensive matrix, it's kind of a mindset thing. You have to think defensively. You think, I know everyone wants to be DPS because they want to be like the showstopper, the guy that shows up in the kill feed and shows all the wins. But with a tank, you have to understand that allowing someone to win through your skill is what you need to stomach. Like, all right, this McCree did good because he had a really good Diva on his team, and that's kind of like what you have to be. You have to enable your allies, and that's really the heart and the crux of tanks. It's your job to be an enabler for your teammates. That is. So you kind of get in that mindset, and that may just be a personality thing, because maybe for a DPS character, you have the right mindset, but for a tank, not so much. But yeah. Mr. Real Smiley, again, Junkrat sensitivity is based on your personal preference. Logistics on Soldier, you never took the high ground. That kind of has to deal with too close. Bionic Field, again, team. Think of the team as well. That's the thing with Defensive Matrix. You got to think for the team. Hold on. It's yeah. So already, look at this. We have two classes that are played or should be played, usually different. We're seeing the theme. Also with D.Va, you love close range. Maybe that was, you know, migrating over to Soldier. But information-wise, I like the fact that you reset a couple times. You're just like, well, this is done. And you killed yourself, which is cool. But information, we talked about the last point. Time. Understanding time is a difficult thing, but we can understand it in very, like, obvious references. Especially with King of the Hill. Actually, in all the game, like, there's a clock that counts down to 0. Don't fucking lose, right? We can understand time in that aspect. Abuse the fact that you know what it's like, as a player, you know what it's like when you're low on time. Understand that when the enemy team is low on time, they have that same feeling. So prep for it. If they're forcing 2 fights because someone has to be on point, abuse the fact that they're split up. Kill them, ult them, take out half the team, and then, you know, deal with the other half. That's the best way to, like, abuse time at the first levels, at the beginning levels. Again, then time comes, like, with rotations and all that stuff, and how the teams move in and out and stuff like that. Information. I'd also say, and this may be a symptom, or because you're so close, you actually don't see a lot of the battlefield. I would just call it, like, breadth of view. I know it sounds odd, but, like, it's essentially like you're forcing tunnel vision on yourself because you're not seeing the whole battlefield. And it's funny when people are like, oh, well, how do I get better at game sense and like decision making and stuff like that? I'm like, I always tell them, play a long range class. Pick up Soldier, Ana, Zen, Junkrat to an extent. And what a long range class does is the longer distance the enemy has to come to get to you, the more time it takes. So you have time to make a decision. You have time to do what you need to do to deal with this guy that's coming across this distance. But also at a long distance, you get a good view of the entire field. So you can see all his friends, all of your, maybe you see your allies in front of you, stuff like that. This is kind of a thing that I noticed with you is on D.Va, you were in front, which is good. But the bad part is every now and then you kind of got to see where your team is at. Or pay really good attention to the right side of the screen to see who's alive and who's dead. Because I think when you're tanking, you had no idea if anyone was behind you or not. Right? And at that point, who are you tanking for? Well, you're just tanking for yourself, which is, you know, this entire defensive matrix issue that we talked about. You gotta do it through comms, or you gotta do it through sound, or you gotta go through it with sight. But I did not see kind of any of them. When you're playing D.Va. So be very wary of that. Same thing with Soldier, because you're so close, you actually didn't see what was coming next. Like, I saw that Winston jump straight up, and the way he jumped up on you on that last point, it wasn't like one of these. Like, he went straight up, and there's very few people. I think you're the only person he could have hit. So you knew the Winston was going to be on you. You sprinted, which was cool, but you kind of sprinted at him, which gave him the ability to land on you. If you actually sprinted away or to the sides, he wouldn't have been able to get to you. But I don't think you saw the Winston. You're just worried about the Soldier on the high ground up here. We're watching the stream while you play, and I can't hear the game. Could that be a good way to practice? No. No, I don't think like limiting yourself through that way is a good way to play. There's certain things you can restrict when playing, but I would not say sound is one of them. That's kind of like playing with your eyes closed. Like, it's just not good. Yeah, I think this is about it. I think I covered everything I really wanted to. If we want to like hit some similarities between your diva and your soldier, not knowing what your team is doing is one of them. You like close range stuff over long range stuff, and maybe that's because of your sensitivity. But if you want to stay at a high sensitivity, then start practicing long range, like finite movements with a low or with a high sensitivity. But with that, yeah, I think those are the two things I'd want you to work on. This is more like playing more and making a decision if you want high or low sensitivity and where you're comfortable at. At a certain point, just pick it and stick with it. I'm gonna pick on Fuey, but Fuey fucking changes his sensitivity like every 3 hours, and just you can't get to the upper echelons of skill that way. Yeah, I think that is it. Figure out what your team's doing and stick with them. And yeah, your long range sensitivity is what I think is really holding you back on Soldier. Also Diva, because your Diva tracking was willy nilly. We have questions from crowd. Asks, how does Roadhog control area through fear? He just kills you. He just kills people. So progress.